beat the Georgia Bulldogs, you're gonna feel the bulldog.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom! Whoa, baby!
And this is show number 78 and the beginning of season 4. Adam, this is our senior year, if you will, of Row 60. And hey, if you're new here, we want to welcome you to the official, unofficial Georgia football fan podcast. We are two fans, two cousins. We've grown up on the Dogs, love the Dogs. We are fired up for another season of college football and of Row 60.
Another season of college football, a big season of college football season, Clark, that we have never seen before in our lives. With all the changes that we're going to talk about, we have already alluded to. Everybody who is a diehard college football fan knows them. But hey, some might need a reminder as we're heading now into the prime time of preseason college football right now of what we're going to be up against and it's getting to see Saturday after Saturday coming up this fall, Clark. So a quick reminder on that, the different changes and what it's going to look like this fall. I couldn't be more excited. Season 4, Clark, man, what an unbelievable first 3 seasons it has been covering this Georgia football team, man. The friends that we have made along the way and the ride. And it's all coming back full circle as we open up against Clemson again, like we did in our inaugural season, Clark. Let the hate begin. If you're longtime listeners of this show, know how we feel about Clemson, Clark. Yeah. How we feel about Clemson, where we have grown up right here on the Georgia-South Carolina line. Honestly, me and you live closer to Clemson's campus than we do Georgia's campus. And have to deal with a lot of Clemson stuff, and we've talked about that our generation does not have the Clemson hate that it needs like what our parents' generation has because they grew up having to see Georgia play against Clemson every opening game in the 80s and in the early 90s, Clark. And so I want to bring that, start a movement, if you will, Clark. Start a movement, if you will, to get back that Clemson is a rival. Mm-hmm. Clemson is a rival and should be treated like one. And too many times throughout the years, I've heard Georgia fans say, yeah, I'm pulling for Clemson. I'm pulling for Clemson to win this game. And that's not right. It's a sin. It's a sin in the Georgia book of right and wrong.
Okay.
The Georgia fan book of right and wrong that I need to illustrate. Well, I can't illustrate. I need to write it. Yeah. I can't draw. But to get somebody else to illustrate, we might need to get a publishing company on that, Clark.
That would
where
be
I talk
good.
About where we write a
that is trademark material, by the way, folks.
It
don't even think about it.
I mean, this just came to mind, Clark. That's what I love about when I put this headset on, Clark. I just go into a different mindset.
You do
go into a different mindset and kind of have some thoughts on what would be just good ideas, Clark. And I think that's a good idea. I need to get somebody that has good penmanship because I do not. That I could sit there, I could lay on a couch. And I could just list off stuff, and they write it down for me, and then publish it for me.
Adam, we may do this in house.
In house, me and you do it. Yeah,
Row 60,
Row 60 Publishing Company, a book of what a Georgia fan does and doesn't do.
Wow. Season 4 is off to a bang.
I like it. I love it. I just thought about that. That is beautiful.
That is
beautiful.
Great.
That's I could get my daggum, what's his name? Ernest Hemingway on.
Oh,
I could get a parrot to sit on my shoulder, because wasn't he big into it was a Key West or what? There was some private island that he had. He was a big parrot guy. Loved some
interesting.
Hemingway was a very interesting guy. You don't know Ernest Hemingway?
I know Ernest Hemingway.
I've never read one of his. I've never read none of his work.
Well, you sure know a lot about him.
I just know that he was a good like Mark Twain. Mark Twain's
there you
more
go.
of
Okay.
I'm a Mark Twain guy. Yeah, Mark Twain kind of esque literature is what we're going to go for, and and actually to top it all, a modern day Louis Grizzard is what we need.
Nice.
So Louis Grizzard was the first one to kind of talk about being a Georgia fan, and you go back and you read all the stuff, especially from the early '80s, man, and it gets you because you feel it and you live it. So I think we need more of a modern that because I feel like media out there is distancing itself more and more to trying to not be biased. Which I say be biased. Be biased to what you love and believe in.
All right.
Do it, babe.
Interesting.
So anyway, sorry, get off the rails. I already started season 4 off the rails. I love
What's
it, man.
new?
I'm just excited to be back here. Yeah. Hope everybody is doing well. Love each and every one of you. Cannot wait, Clark, to be interacting with all of our friends out there who listen to the show, man. Your support, we love it more than you can imagine, man. Yeah. And just hope everybody's had a good summer and doing good.
Well, once again, if you're new here, we truly are not by any means a polished podcast.
Yeah, we're rough around the edges.
We're very rough around the edges, and that's how we like to live our life and talk on this podcast. We're not media. We're not journalists.
That's
we're not
right.
beat writers. We're just two DGDs. I feel like we've earned the DGD title.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we absolutely.
And
two DGDs.
And if we can't like self-proclaim
DGDs.
that, I will give you a DGD
I'll give
title.
you a DGD.
And okay, all right.
Absolutely.
So now we're
100%,
DGD.
100%.
I feel like once again we've earned that, and so have so many of you out there listening. But man, we are geared up for another very exciting season of Georgia football and once again college football. So much is happening. We've got a lot to talk about.
Right there.
We've got a lot to talk about on this episode. Starting off, kind of catching up a little bit. It's been a while for us.
Yeah.
We've had a very interesting offseason, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, no, I was just going to say, Clark, we talk about every offseason after we kind of wrap up the season, and it's just them cold, dark, gloomy winters, and we're hitting into February or so, and we're like, we're gonna crank up some offseason material and stuff, but as life has it, obviously this isn't our full-time gigs.
Yeah,
and,
not yet.
Right, so time just gets the best of us in it. But I told you, I said that's kind of good because that way people can't get tired of us in a sense of that they have to hear from us and get a notification. Is it notification or notification? Okay, me and my wife had a big dispute about that. I thought notification sounds good, but a notification, there's really no. I mean, the American English language, Clark. When you look at that, you would think that the O would be a nah.
I don't know if anyone in the history of the world has ever thought of it. Notification.
But anyway, a notification and about a podcast every single week. But now, hey, it's going to be ramping consistently, Clark, because you got the schedule of what we got planned because it is now go time. Because it snuck up on us, Clark.
It did.
I mean, we talked to you last week. I said, Clark, SEC Media Days are next week, man. Brother, we're in the middle of July. I know we've been busy. We've had a lot of stuff going on, but it's time to get ramped up. It's time for some Georgia football, baby.
Absolutely.
We're going to put everything in this. This world's chaotic right now, Clark. This world is chaotic right now. We're not getting into that, but it's a chaotic time. People got some stuff going on. But, hey, there's a getaway, man, and it's college football season ramping up. And it is here. Y'all made it. Y'all suffered through the long, miserable 100-degree weather of July. It's fading every single day.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank God we're getting some rain. Also,
Thank God we're getting some rain.
You said something very ironic. You said
God,
we're kind of escaping chaos, and our getaway is college football. But what's ironic is it's more chaotic.
But we love that chaos.
That is true.
Love that
That's
chaos,
tolerable.
man.
That's
Love,
fun chaos.
That's the feeling of college football, the week-to-week anxiety that it brings. That it's not a anxiety that that you face in everyday life in some situations and adversity that people go through, that each and every one of us go through. And, of course, we lean on Jesus Christ when we go through that type of adversity and anxiety. But this is a fun, anxious feeling to have week to week, man. And it's something that you get addicted to and you crave it more and more and more. And this season's going to lead to a lot more of those feelings when you look at this schedule that we're going to be previewing in the next few episodes and talking about. And this format, a playoff, and where this football team is right now, it's time to crank it up.
Yep. Coming up this season on Row 60, we're going to have a roster preview episode. We'll have a schedule preview where we run through the Georgia football schedule, that is.
Sir.
Then we'll have a separate episode that talks about college football schedule, maybe previewing the top games each week, and then we'll have a Clemson preview before you know it. So, and between all that, some surprises and some different episodes along the way. I do think we have a couple cooked up in the works that we want to pump out. Also, we want to announce this Friday, August 30th. We'll be having our first live call-in show for the 2024 college football season. The time, Adam, to be determined. We don't know.
TBD, but we will be going off Eastern Standard Time. I
mean, we genuinely have people listening from all over the country.
That's
and that's
right.
the coolest
That's right.
part
That's a
about this,
blessing.
man. We've got people literally from California to New York and
sir.
everywhere else in between. Truly, it's a great time. If you've never experienced a live call-in show, you need to hop on. It'll be on Facebook and YouTube. We'll release more details.
It's going to get rowdy, man.
It will get very rowdy.
That one's going to get rowdy because, as we alluded to, we don't like Clemson, and you shouldn't either.
I don't think that. No, we don't.
We do not like Clemson.
No, we hate Clemson.
We hate Clemson. We hate Clemson.
Yeah,
It is
come on.
okay to say hate in this when we are using it in this context. That's exactly right. And no, it's going to be wild. It's going to be big time game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Clemson. Man, I cannot wait. We have plenty of time to talk about it, but I just want to say I think we're going to see where these programs, where one coach just took his program with some of the decision makings of how to build a program and a culture versus the other, and where the separation is now 3 years later. That matchup in Charlotte in 2021 and what has happened since then and the trajectory of both of those programs. And I love it.
Yeah. So make sure if you're already not following us on social media, go ahead. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Adam.
X,
You know what X is, yeah.
X is the new Twitter.
That is right. And then YouTube. So go ahead, follow us on there and stay up to date with what we got going on. Lots of things cooking.
Yes, sir.
Also on this episode, we're going to talk about the college football 25 CFB 25 video game.
Yes.
We both got our hands on that, played it a little bit. We'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Got to.
SEC Media Days just happened. Really didn't watch much of it. We'll dive into that a little bit. We may or may not have a culture problem at the University of Georgia.
I got a theory.
You got a theory?
I got a theory.
I want to hear this
I got a theory.
I want to hear
I got a theory.
New things in 2024. Once again, we've alluded to this. There's so much change is happening, and we'll dive into that later. And yeah, who knows where else we'll go with this episode. But once again, this is the start of season 4. A lot's been happening in the offseason, Adam. Just catch us up a little bit. Catch the people, update them. What's been going on in your life? Any big things?
Yeah, it's just been busy, as everybody knows, and as you're about to know, raising a child, man, is a very big blessing, but takes up a lot of time, occupies a lot of time. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been great seeing Callie get to now almost nearly 2 years of age, and just the everyday something new, man. It just melts me. It just melts me. I love nothing more. Every afternoon I get her on our little UTV or Kawasaki mule. We go and we ride and we see the cows and love that. So been cutting hay, doing a lot of cow work, doing some shop welding projects and stuff. I'm now in the electrical field. So doing some electrical work with a guy I work for. So that's keeping me busy, man. So been very blessed. Been able to get up and work. And that's honestly, work is my hobby outside of Georgia football.
Yeah.
And,
you
I
stay
enjoy
busy.
it. I just stay busy with it. And it's a blessing to be able to get up and physically be able to do that. And that's the message I want to say, Clark. And you will say it the same way with what you do and what your passions are. It is a blessing to sit here and have another year of football coming up. It is a blessing to get up and do what you love every single day and enjoy it with the people that you love to do it with. It's a humbling feeling, man, and it's exciting. And this time of year, you do it every single day, but even more, I feel that just the thankfulness to be able to do it when we're getting closer to football too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Busy, but blessed.
Right quick, Adam. What is the name of your calf? Because didn't y'all just have a calf?
Oh yeah. Well, I had a bottle calf.
Bottle
calf.
So what's the difference between a calf and a bottle calf, or is there a difference?
Well, they're both their calves,
right?
They calf out one of them. You have different scenarios. Well, basically, a bottle calf is when the mother either dies during birth or either rejects the calf for a variety of reasons. This particular instance of the bottle calf, we had 2 cows. Have 2 sets of twins, or two mama cows had a pair of twins.
Wow,
and that's kind of
both.
It's kind of rare to have. With a herd my size, it's not like I'm John Dutton, in Montana with 1,000 head of cows. For a herd my size, having 2 sets of twins in one calving season is pretty rare.
Yeah.
But it's but yeah. So anyway, this particular bottle calf, the mama had twins. She took one twin, wasn't nursing this twin.
Okay.
Dooley. That's what we named
That's
it. So
right.
I told my wife, you can name bottle calves, but you can't name regular calves.
Okay.
Because you can't draw an attachment to these animals.
Yeah.
They're not pets, but the bottle calf does become a pet with how because you're feeding it a bottle every single day, and even when you put it in the pasture like it is now, it comes up to you and sucking on your gene leg and everything, and and it's neat to be able to be a caretaker for the good Lord's creation like that. Because when we found the calf that January morning, it was dead as a doornail.
Wow.
Dead as a doornail, barely hanging on, laying out there, but we were able to get it up, put it in the stable, and get it some warm milk in it and get it accustomed and trained. It already had got colostrum from its mom, thankfully.
Wow.
And then we were able to just nurse it back to health. And so he's out there. He's a mess. He just moves all the time and just a mess, man. But no, I love the cows. Cow price is very good right now. We've obviously here in Northeast Georgia have been in a drought. So really trying to manage keeping your grass and getting these cows fed and not wanting to, you can't really make a good living in the cow business feeding hay in July. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to sell some head off, and because I mean, if you overgraze, it can ruin your pastures for a while, you know. And so kind of managing that, but it's been fun, man. I enjoy that. That's a hobby of mine that I really enjoy. Outside of Georgia football, that's probably one of my biggest passions in. So anyway, but just doing that, and there's just regular work, just doing some wiring and stuff, and a little bit of welding on the side with some jobs back in my shop. So man, been great. Tell me about you, enough about me. What you got going on?
Well, you
got some huge news.
I've got some big news. If you're not on social media, I guess you may not have heard this yet, but I am about to be a father. The due date is January 6th. We found out we're having a boy. Still working out the baby name situation. Me and Caitlin have gone back and forth. I've thrown out Keely. I've thrown out Kirby.
Yeah.
I've thrown out a lot of different names.
I love
Muschamp. I think Champ
would be good.
Awesome.
Champ
and
Gaines.
Adam.
I love that.
I do too.
I really love that.
And you could call him Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
That could be his nickname.
I like that.
I don't know.
I like that. Lil Boom. Lil Boom.
But anyway,
Sounds
we got
like a rapper. Lil Boom.
Lil Boom.
Like he's get some street cred in Atlanta with a name like that.
Yeah, baby. But
dang it, boy.
Yeah,
I love it.
One of our
Man, what a
friends,
blessing.
Jess McNeil, he said, a little advice. He said, you need to make sure that when you name a kid, especially a boy, you want him to have a strong name and one that could sound good over a loudspeaker. At either Sanford or at your high school stadium or whatnot. So we're trying to think of a good name in that sense. So, but
I love that, man.
it's been fun, and so life's about to shift, and I'm going to need some good advice from you, Adam.
It changes, man. It changes, but there's a love that you can't explain. And especially when you first go in and what you've already experienced when you go in and you see that baby's heartbeat, you just thank the good Lord for it, man. And but when that baby comes here, it's a love. It changes your life forever. Everything else in life is put second, and it's all about raising that child, man, and what's the best for that child and providing for that child. And then you have a parent instinct of protection that comes in over you that you'll do whatever for that child that you didn't think you were capable of. And every parent would ditto that. It's a blessing, man. And I can't wait for you to experience it. It changes. It definitely changes, and things become less of a priority for sure. But man, it's the best blessing in the world. Yeah. And as a new parent myself, kind of just into it about 2 years now, wouldn't trade it for the world, obviously. Yeah. Wouldn't trade it for the world, and the memories already being made, and just being there, man.
Yeah.
Getting to raise a kid.
I tell you, Adam, I was a little,
awesome.
We were trying to, I know this sounds crazy for some people out there, but we were trying to kind of plan around football season. And I did that because, I don't want my son or daughter's birthday to be overshadowed by a game.
No, you can't have a child born in the middle of October.
No, now that would be catastrophic.
I mean, like Callie was on the line. Callie was on the line. We were at the deadline.
Yeah,
we were at the deadline for what we had. Would have had to pause a little bit before, because she was middle of August, right. So 2 weeks before we kicked off against Oregon in the Benz, So yeah, but no, I agree. I mean, you don't have children in the fall, and you don't get married in the fall. That's another that will be written in our book. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I know people have made it work for centuries, and people are a whole lot more level-headed than we are, and have their priorities in order than we are, but no, you don't do that.
Well, January 6th is cutting it awfully close.
Oh, it's January 6th?
Lord willing.
It's January 6th.
January 6th.
I thought it was late January.
No, Adam. January 6th. Lord willing, we make it to that point. That's the plan as of now. I did get confirmation from my wife, because the national championship is in Atlanta.
This is going to be gold material. Lining up Georgia's season with Caitlin, your wife's, what's the word for
Expected due date?
Expected due date. Yeah, we can run with that. Of when, and then where's Clark mine? Like, we need to have a daily interview with where Georgia's at, the plans, lining up with the date for the child's arrival, and where Clark is, his headspace is, right? That's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so
that's going to be
playoffs, right? They start December 19th and 20th, respectively, those 2 days.
Wild. I'm going to wear a Santa Claus hat.
You ought to.
The stadium. I got a Georgia Santa Claus hat. Anyway.
That's good. Yeah. The 20th is my birthday, which is going to be fun. I mean, if we're playing that day.
That is right.
That'd be a great birthday present. Anyway, then you got Christmas. Then you got New Year's, and when New Year's rolls around, that's when you get the Elite Eight games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then beyond that is between that and
stretches the whole month of January.
Yeah, the semifinal game.
What a blessing.
Right. The semifinal game between New Year's semifinal game is when our expected due date is. So that's kind of
Between
scary.
the semifinal and the finals. Is that what you said?
No,
the
I
Elite
think
Eight
it's
and
the Elite
semifinal.
Eight and
Oh,
semifinals.
man. Clark,
So I might have to miss a playoff game,
man.
but
Listen,
but hold up.
it was like January. Where'd I get that?
I did
from?
get confirmation from Caitlin. I said, look, if baby is due,
Yeah.
and born and everything's going right, and
Right.
Lord willing,
Good Lord willing. That's right.
January 6th, can I still go to
matters.
the national championship game? Because I believe the national championship's middle January. I don't remember the exact date.
It's like January. I thought it was like the 20th or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And she said that'd be fine because it's in Atlanta. Now, if it
Yeah,
were off in
if
LA, or
LA
something, it
that
might be a different story. But I did get confirmation. So y'all heard it here, and y'all get to help me hold Caitlin to her word there. So
That is awesome. That is going to be a
man.
great storyline to follow during this football season. Is that
Forget
going
the playoff.
on?
Let's worry about
how the playoff lines up with baby games is new day.
my gosh.
So no, that's awesome. That's exciting. In all seriousness, man, that is great. We will be praying for Caitlin and the baby and all expecting mothers right now that's in the Row 60 family. Even if they're born in October, we're happy for y'all. But,
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, God, it's crazy to think about, Clark, that all through the month of December we're gonna have football, man.
I know.
And on into
Yeah.
January too. I mean, really, when it kicks off Labor Day weekend, I mean,
'Cause
you can
both-
play what, 17 games?
Yeah,
probably
I mean-
16 if you get a bye.
Right.
So,
We could play a maximum of 17 games this season. And the cool thing about December is bowl season will be happening throughout all that too.
oh yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly
the thing. It's not
right.
just playoffs. Like it's bowl games.
Oh,
too.
it's beautiful.
Right.
It's beautiful is what it is. And it's one of these rare times where the first game falls in the month of August. So every time you have a game on August 30th, August 31st, that Saturday, you have 2 bye weeks during the regular season.
Yes.
I don't know if people, you think about that, but the last time this happened was 13-14. Last 2 years we opened up with Clemson, 13-14. You usually have a bye week in September, and then you have your traditional bye week before Florida as well. So it just prolongs the season that much more and extends it out. So, and I'm all for that.
Me too.
I'm all
Me
for
too.
that. I mean, you're not going to hear me complain about that. So, Clark, we're saying that, and this is kind of one of these episodes that we structured. We just want to catch up.
Yeah.
Just want to catch up, kind of get the season cranked up, season 4 cranked up. Do you want to go ahead and jump? But I don't want to step on your toes of what you have planned going on. But since we just alluded to the playoffs, for the people, everybody knows the 12-team playoff, right?
Yeah.
But
I would hope so.
Do you want to jump in to explain? Just go ahead, since it's the season inaugural show, people might not know the dates, venues, or how this playoff bracket's going to work to, dotting I, crossing T's, knowing about
Right.
it. They just know it's a 12-team playoff. But do you want to,
Adam, I need a refresher. honestly.
I think we all need a refresher on it. I mean, we need to talk about this. And Kirby Smart said during SEC Media Days, this is the first thing he's going to do with his team in that opening team meeting is go over what the playoffs like this year.
We gotta educate ourselves.
It's not just, dang, we're going to be, New Year's Day, around New Year's Day, you get your semifinal game in, and then it's January 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th, or whatever is your national championship. This is a whole different process.
That is true.
And a whole different way of selecting teams. It's a gauntlet, man.
It is.
It is a gauntlet. And I think it needs to be talked about now how important depth is going to be in attrition and these places.
Yeah, so let's briefly run through what this college football playoff will look like, because there's a great book by Stephen Covey, and it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
All right.
And one of the habits is, Adam,
What is
to
it?
begin with the end in mind. So with that said, we need to start
like
this season with the end in mind.
That's right. With the main
What
goal.
is the goal here? It's to
The
win
main
national
thing. The main
championship.
thing's the main thing. That's
Right.
to win that's to win a national championship. That's the standard at University of Georgia.
Exactly.
Always has been, especially now.
Yep. So let's start with the college football playoff and sort of backtrack through the rest of it. But
Yeah.
all right, so playoff first round. I was
This
wrong
is
with
wild.
the dates, by
This
the
is
way.
wild. This is wild.
Yes, I was wrong by the dates. It's not the 19th, 20th. It's actually the 20th and 21st. So Friday, December 20th, we'll have an 8 p.m. Eastern time kick somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And
on a college campus.
right. And it will
Ooh.
be the highest seed. The higher seed will host that game, which is going to be wild. I don't know what kind of atmosphere we're going to get. I don't know how it's going to be structured. Like there's a lot of question marks. I know they were I think it was Greg Sankey. They were talking about sort of it wasn't Greg Sankey. It was the CFP chair committee guy. I don't know, one of the chairmen, but he was talking about how
a suit and tie type of guy.
Oh yes, definitely.
And the wine and cheese crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a row 60 guy.
No.
Not a row 60 guy.
But
Anyway.
he was discussing how some teams may not be capable yet of hosting a big kind of game like a college football first round playoff kind of game.
Really?
And things talking about things like hotels and the size of your stadium, and there's a lot of question marks. Is my point.
I want to know too in this, Clark. And let me say this before we discuss the first round. People need to know. I mean, as cool as it would be to have a game in Sanford State, a playoff game, and I'd love it. People need to know this. To have the regular season that we want to have, we don't want to be playing in this round.
Absolutely not.
We want to be sitting at home watching this and then playing Georgia kicking off as a top 4 seed with a bye, correct?
Yeah.
The next round in a neutral site. So really, as cool as it'd be like, oh, it'd be so cool to have a playoff in Sanford Stadium or to go, and you really don't want to go to,
Anywhere.
I don't know, Ann Arbor, Michigan in December.
Or Happy Valley.
Exactly. Up there. And you don't want to do that because that means you've took some lumps in the regular season. I mean, you'll be blessed to be in the playoff, and and that's kind of the thing now, man. I mean, too, I'm going to get to that later, what I was going to say about that, but continue with what you're saying. This is the first round.
So, yeah, first round, December 20th, we'll have one game. December 21st, we'll have a noon, 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. kick.
Jeez.
Just wild stuff.
3 first.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
On college campuses now, people.
Right.
On college, they're sitting corporate, and I cannot wait to see how are they going to divvy up these tickets.
Has
that been talked about?
Question.
Discussed?
I don't think it
like,
has.
do season ticket holders, how big priority points are you going to be able to get your regular seat?
Or is it a neutral site
Or is it
game?
neutral site game?
I don't think they'd make it neutral site because you have to have
home field advantage.
Home field advantage.
That's what it's
right?
about, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why you want to be a higher.
You might
seed.
allot a little bit more tickets to the opposing fan base than you would a regular season game, right? But then the people on that bottom half of the line of donors, who have season tickets, who have to give up. That's going to be interesting. I can't wait. But as we said, we hope Georgia's not involved in this round.
Absolutely. The second round, we'll call it the Elite Eight for simplicity's sake. So this will be the quarterfinals. Tuesday, December 31st, we'll have the Fiesta Bowl. January 1st, we'll have the Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl. So that's, once again, the Elite Eight, if you will. Moving on, the winners will go to the playoff semifinals. This year is the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. So like 2021, if you remember back then, when Georgia played Michigan and Alabama played Cincinnati. And then, obviously, the winner will go on and play in Atlanta on January 20th. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, so playoff semifinals, by the way, are Thursday, January 9th and Friday, January 10th, respectively. So, wow. Just chaos, Adam. Absolute chaos. And it's going to be fun to get to that point. But before we even get to that point, we've got so many good games this season.
I mean, it's really unfathomable to think about the hurdles you have to go through to get to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're talking about if you're not getting a bye, you're not a top 4 seed, you got to win 4 straight games against very, very, very quality football.
I mean, the top 12 teams
in December after a full college football schedule where you're going to get just beat up every single week to win a national championship. I mean, it just got significantly harder. That's why it's a blessing that we've experienced the 2 that we have the past 3 years. Man, you're still in Kirby Smart. The type of program Georgia is built to run that gauntlet because depth and is such a priority in the sense of this is when there's got to be a sale to recruits, man, that, hey, even though you're a 5-star freshman, you might not be starting off the rip, just the way how the physicality of playing a tough out-of-conference schedule and an SEC schedule and extended games now in the postseason. You never know when your name's going to be called.
Yeah.
And you have to have that depth to run the gauntlet, Clark. And then on the flip side of that, man, I personally am still going to love every single regular season game, even if you could lose 2 games, still get in the postseason. But it's going to be like now where you see in professional sports that you get a wild card team in baseball, NFL playoffs, I guess the NBA playoffs. I don't really watch the NBA playoffs at all. I don't watch the NBA at all, period. But point being that you get hot in December.
Yeah.
You just get in. You get hot in December. It really don't matter if you were a 2-loss, 3-loss
That's
team.
true.
I mean, I don't think a 3-loss team will get in. That's what I can't wait to see is what records are going to get in.
Right. The question is, Adam, how advantageous is that first week bye in the college football
I think it's
playoff?
huge.
So if it's huge, then that means that the conference championship game 100% matters.
Oh, it's huge.
Which then means that the regular season conference games matter. So the people who are saying we don't have to win every game. Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to win every game, but we do need to win as many games as humanly possible.
Oh, 100%, Clark. And that you hit the nail on the head right there. And that's what the big talking points were in Dallas at SEC Media Days last week. Kirby was asked this: are you one that's for just going back like in the day, pre-1992 in the Southeastern Conference, letting the regular season schedule, whoever has the best regular season record be crowned SEC champion and not have an SEC championship game? Because, we've discussed a little bit on here, but let's really dive deep into this. What's your thoughts on keeping the SEC championship game?
I think it's way too big of a money grab for the conference and really for any conference for that matter. I mean, the SEC championship is the biggest, and
especially
it's the
in
best.
SEC championship. Because you look at ticket prices every year to that game in Atlanta compared to the ones in Indianapolis, Charlotte, wherever, right? So,
Charlotte's, you get in $5.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to go see Clemson play in their conference championship? Sounds like a snooze fest to me. But
100%.
I mean, the SEC championship, way too big of a cash cow, if you will, for the conference. And so for that reason, they're never going to get rid of it. But I do think it's an important game, Adam. There's a lot of tradition.
You dang right.
I mean, and Kirby said this a lot of times. It's harder to win a conference championship than it is to win the national championship.
Well, he said that in Dallas. Yeah. And, you look at it, I mean, 2 national championships, just 1 SEC championship in that. Mm-hmm. The SEC championship this year kept Georgia from a national championship. And, I mean, that game is monstrous. It's huge. And, I remember as a kid, the 2002 SEC championship, the 2005 SEC championship. And then when we made it back and lost in 11 and 12, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And some of the most nerve-wracking times in a football stadium have been in Atlanta at the SEC championship to me. And I don't want to lose that feeling. I think it's huge. On the flip side of it, and you think about it, kind of it's funny how history comes full circle. In '92, the first one ever, they thought that Steve Spurrier in Florida could have beat Alabama and ruined Alabama to have a chance to go to the national championship to play Miami that year. But they did a special on it, that a good history lesson on Alabama did win it, but it would have been just chaos if Florida had beat Alabama then, because at that time, that was the first conference championship game. So why I said that and brought that up, we said Georgia can have a 10-2 record and get into the playoff. Well, let's just play a scenario real quick, man. I mean, let's just say you lose in Oxford, Mississippi, and you lose in Austin, Texas, 10-2, and then you're playing Texas again in the conference championship. You were probably a shoe-in because you lost to a very good Ole Miss team and a very good Texas team
on the road.
But you probably, without an SEC championship game, probably would have got in. You probably would have been obviously in that first round there, and you might have had to go on the road and play. But you're shooting in the playoff. But then you play that SEC championship game and risk a potential third loss right there.
Yeah.
Or
are they going to punish you this time?
Well, go ahead.
No, but the reason we got to win the SEC championship, or any team wants to win a conference championship now, is because the top 4 conference champions get the top 4 seeds in the playoff, which means that first week bye. Yeah. So that's right. I mean, every coach wants that. If you get a week of rest, to me that is a lot better.
Well, it's 100% right, man. And I mean, every game in Atlanta is a war. But I mean, you got to win that game, or losing that game, you might could go in with 11-1 record and lose that game, and then drop from potentially winning that game, having the bye, to probably going on the road or hosting in the first round. Mm-hmm. That's fine too. But winning that game is so important. But what's crazy about it is, man, and what these coaches, especially in the Southeastern Conference, are going through right now, you turn around, you play that game, that's like a playoff game right there. It always has been. The physicality of that, you don't have from, let's just say, December 3rd to January 1st to rest and get healthy.
Exactly. Like you
and
used
focus
to.
on the punt like you used to.
You got a
After
game
that
in the middle.
After going through rivalry week and just the gauntlet of the SEC in November where you're already just been beat up, rivalry week, then the SEC championship, then finally you can kind of get your feet underneath you a little bit there and have almost a full month of rest. No, it's getting right back at it after a tough game in Atlanta. So, I mean, that's what's going to be so much fun is to see what coach and program is built to go through that. And I think the University of Georgia is one of the very few that is there to be able to do that.
For sure. Once again, no divisions in the ACC, Big Ten, or SEC. So when these conference championships are played, it won't be the winner of the East versus the winner of the West or whatever, or the I forget how the ACC did it. What is it? The Coastal Conference and the Atlantic.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes sense. It won't be divisions
then the
anymore.
legends and the leaders in the Big Ten.
Oh,
it used to be. I think they went now West and East. But
Yeah.
It used to be legends and leaders.
I remember
it was
that.
cute. It was cute.
It was cute. But yeah, so no divisions. Each conference championship will have the top two teams, whatever that looks like. And I wonder how tiebreakers work now. I mean, I guess they look at head-to-head maybe.
Common opponents,
common
maybe,
opponents.
and then
Who
probably
knows?
point score. I don't know. I don't know, but just a lot of new stuff, man. That we've always we knew everything about, just like the back of our hand.
Yeah.
But now it's gonna be amazing, man. Yeah. But for the fan, it leads to more entertainment, more football. What we love. It's a good thing.
I think so. Initially there was a lot of pushback, even for me. I wasn't super excited about this 12-team playoff. I'm still not completely sold on it. I still think you're going to see the blowouts, the 65-7s, the 63-3s, or whatever we beat Florida State by. We're going to see that. No doubt about it. And people are going to complain. They're going to gripe. But the 12-team playoff is not going to fix that. I think it's going to only – the teams who are supposed to win the championship will win it. In my opinion, it's not like you're going to get It's not like you're going to get a 12, like a UCF at a 12 seed, and they go on. And I mean, they could. I don't think it's going to happen.
You might see somebody beat somebody they're not supposed to.
Right. It's like March Madness.
Yeah,
it's going to look a lot like March Madness. You're going to see maybe one team get that huge upset, the 16 over the 1 seed, the nobody over the Purdue that happened a couple of years ago. You might see that, right? But the teams who are meant to be the best, the teams who have the most depth will be the ones that are standing at the end.
The teams that's dominant in the trenches are going to win. And and have the depth, like you said, and can handle the gauntlet and the attrition that is going to be in the middle of December playing against another top quality opponent. I mean, it's unbelievable to think about. And, you think about it, Michigan and Ohio State could play 2 weeks in a row.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That is very true.
I mean, just all across the college football landscape, and like fans of like Ole Miss right now, where Lane Kiffin has their programs, loving this 12-team playoff. Us, we're not excited about it because we know we could easily make a 14 playoff and have the traditional way and win a national championship like we've done a couple times already here in the past couple of years. So, but teams like Ole Miss, for instance, fan bases are thinking, or Tennessee are thinking this is our time to sneak into the playoffs that we weren't able to probably before. But even us having regular seasons like we've had in the past might not be a top 2 conference championship team that make it to Atlanta, but we can still sneak into the playoffs. Yeah. So they're excited about this format. And a lot of people, I love the fact that you get one group of 5 team in, give them a chance with it, and just see what they do. And I think it's going to add some excitement to fan bases that aren't as spoiled and blessed like we are. Like, man, I don't care if it was old BCS system, we can still get in there. Yeah. But the 14 playoff now rather. So that's going to be exciting to see. And I don't know, man. I really don't know what to think. We might have to give a prediction on who our 12-team playoff. We used to do who are our 14. Now we're going to have to give a prediction on who the 12 teams are going to be. Insane.
And it could be a lot of different options.
How many teams is the SEC going to get in? They're going to put a cap on it. I think that's going to be interesting this year. How many teams from the SEC are going to
Well, you'll definitely at least have one with conference champion. I think you would have the conference champion loser.
How many Power 5 at-larges will there be? So this is where I'm confused at right now, Clark. Does the Big 12 conference champion get in? Or is it now just –
I think it's group of 4, or sorry, Power 4, because now Pac-12 is axed.
So the Big 12 champion will get in, even though
I think the Big 12 is lumped into this. But you take those 5 conference champions, if you're including the Big 12. So you got the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC,
The SEC.
The SEC, the Big Ten. Wait, did I say Big Ten already?
Wait. Yeah, no, yeah, you did. It's the Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. Yeah, the Power 4 now.
Okay.
Because the Pac-12, it used to be Power 5. Now the Pac-12 is
right.
not
Hold up just a
existing.
All right, let me read this. This is from the College Football Playoff website. Because we're still confused about this, too. I mean, we're educating. I feel like we're educating the people. I don't know if we are or not at this point.
We're getting people to think.
That is true.
We're getting people to think.
This comes from the CFP website, though. For the 2024 and 2025 seasons, the 12 playoff participants consist of the 5 highest-ranked conference champions plus the next 7 highest-ranked teams. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4 and receive a first-round bye. What conferences?
What 5 conferences is it? It's the all right, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC. What's the 5th conference? Surely it's not the American.
I don't know.
Or are they lumping in the 5th being the Group of 5 champion? The highest ranked Group of 5.
Probably,
is that going to be your 5th?
That might
be. Or do they mention that in there too?
I don't know. That's an excellent question. Well, we'll figure out the answer.
So it's 7. Let's say it is that. So it's 5 automatic right there. Then you get 7 at larges. That is insane.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about this at a different point in time. We don't have the answers. A little unprepared on this episode. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of chaos.
I mean, I understand the bracket format, but I guess I hadn't really thought about it and dove deep into who gets the automatic. And I knew there'd be a Group of 5 team, but I didn't know. But I guess I just didn't think about, the Big 12, whoever wins that cupcake of a conference is going to automatically be in there.
Is the Pac-12 even a conference anymore?
They have
the
Pac-2. They have 2 members, Oregon State and Washington State, right?
Yeah.
So where's Notre Dame fall into this? I guess they'll get an at-large if they go.
Well, they deserve to be in an at-large. They don't ever deserve to have a bye. No independent does.
They should be an at-large.
If they're not playing in a conference championship, they don't deserve a bye.
Wow. But anyway. Man.
Oh, boy, this is what we have to look forward to this season.
Chaos, baby.
Oh, geez, Louise.
I love it, man. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Couple more.
Wild December.
Couple more things new in the 2024 season. No Nick Saban, obviously. We've talked about that.
Love it.
No CBS. Adam, and I got a little sad the other day. I was on Instagram and I was scrolling, and there's a video that popped up, and it was Brad Nessler and the CBS theme, and it was doing a little panorama drone shot of, I don't know, it was something like Indiana versus Rutgers or something.
Oh my gosh!
And the stadium was half full, and I just thought, man, what a travesty! I'm going to miss bumping for the big games.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a staple of our childhood growing up. Like, why did ESPN not make a smart business decision? Just shell out a few more million, only a few more $1 million, right, and get the rights to the trumpets.
Oh, buy the song from CBS.
Buy the song from CBS.
Yeah.
Like, do a trade, get an embargo going on, and they could trade one of their 2012 college football themes or whatever, because they change theirs like every couple of years or whatever, and then give us an ABC bum.
That would have been nice.
Because the trumpets, the like you said, is not going to hit the same. It's not going to hit the same at all, Clark. In Lafayette, Indiana, when Northwestern's coming to town to play Purdue.
The Hoosiers. Sorry. I thought you were saying Indiana. Oh, Purdue's in Indiana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
I didn't know that.
I might have missed that one. I think it's Lafayette, Indiana. Purdue's in Lafayette, Indiana.
Let me fact check you here, Adam.
Fact check me on that. Where's Purdue's campus?
Purdue.
Might have missed that city.
Campus. Purdue University, West Lafayette. Close enough.
Same, there we go. So, yeah, I mean, it's just not going to hit the same. So, why they didn't but I mean, it's whatever. I'm just an old man yelling at a cloud right now. So
old man yelling at a cloud. Is that like a Southern saying that I don't know about?
That's just like being a grumpy old man that you're just mad at a cloud. You get what I'm saying? Just mad at for.
But is that like a common saying?
Maybe.
If it's not, it should be.
Maybe I've heard it before. So
I love that. A couple more things. 2-minute warning. What the heck? We're about to jump into this. CFB 25, the new video game. The other day I was playing Georgia Clemson, got a 2-minute warning in the first half, and I thought, what the heck was that? I didn't call a timeout.
Yeah. Oh,
2-minute warning. We're getting that.
Forgotten about that.
I know. Real life college football, we're getting that this year, as if we needed more time to watch commercials.
Which I love it, because I'm like, why are we shortening the games? I've said this before last season when the new rules were implemented. Why do we shorten these games? We only get now possibly 16, 17 a year, but still, that's only 16, 17 days out of 365.
Yeah, that's all.
Why are we wanting to rush this thing, man?
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it.
So you are for the 2-minute warning.
Yeah. I'm for it until Georgia's up by 3 or 4 points in Oxford, Mississippi, and Jackson Dart's driving down the field, and Lane has no timeouts, and they hit a 2-minute warning to be able to stop the clock. And then I'm going to be pissed about it. So I mean, that's how I feel about it.
It's interesting, though. And then the last thing, and we've kind of already touched on this, but quarterback headset and helmet, I do think that will make a difference this year.
How do you think Carson Beck's going to like hearing Mike Bobo right before the snap, before it cuts off?
I don't know.
Do you think Bobo's already working on the timing of being able to spit out what he needs to say, or it's going to cut him off mid-sentence? Is Bobo going to speed up his like? Are there communication already talking that Bobo's kind of speeding up, I guess, kind of his dialect in sense, to be able to talk faster to get it in before it cuts off? Because isn't it a lot of time on the play clock where it just goes off?
Yeah. I think it's 15 seconds before the play clock stops, it will cut off completely.
So you think Bobo's trying to speed up his?
I'm sure. Yeah, he's going to have to if he wants to do that. But they do work on this kind of stuff at practice. I know they have Bobo in a headset already, signaling in. That's things in practice, but it'll be interesting. College football 25. Wow is all I got to say so far. The game's not perfect. If you've gotten it, you know what I mean. There's some little nuances that don't really love so far.
Yeah,
but I think some of it will get fixed. Adam, first thoughts on the game. First of all, tell me how you even got a hold of the game.
I'll have to brag on my beautiful, lovely wife. She bought me a PlayStation 5 because, Clark, the last time I had played a video game was on a PlayStation 3 that I got when I was in high school 15 years ago. And the last game that I played on a video game console was NCAA Football 14, which came out in July 2013. So 11 years ago was the last video game I purchased and played. But as it would have it, I'm addicted to college football, and I had to get it. But my wife surprised me. Thankful for her, and she got me a console. I got the game on Friday because I didn't know that you could just get a downloadable game like out the cloud. I had no idea that you could get. I thought you had to still get the old hard disk, man. And I kind of think that And I told her when she was explaining it to me about how she got the PlayStation where you get the hard disk, and I said I didn't even know that you could get a PlayStation or Xbox or whatever and just get games downloaded from the cloud.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, we need to get one with the hard disk. I'm glad you did that because I loved being able to just unpeel the wrapper, bust it open, and the smell of a new college football game.
Yeah.
And it'll be the only game I get on PlayStation 5. So, yes, our family, me and my wife, our money came out of our bank account for a good amount for a new PlayStation 5 just to play this game because I have an addictive personality. I have no reason to have this game, Clark. Where I'm at in life, I do not have the time to be playing a college football video game. But did I do it? Yes, I did. And am I losing sleep because of it? Yep. I might have to play after midnight till 2 a.m. and have less sleep because that's the only time I can play it. But by gosh, I'm doing it, and I'm loving every single second of it. I love it. I love this game. I've had a ball playing it, Clark, and it's been great.
There's nothing like DMing virtual high school football players, 18, 17, 16-year-olds, getting on the recruiting trail.
Love it.
At 2 o'clock a.m.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's awesome. I never played online before on any video game console, and me and you played.
Yeah,
Friday night, last Friday.
We were it was Hawaii. I was Hawaii, and you were Western Michigan.
SMU.
Oh yeah, SMU. That's
our first game. It was Hawaii at SMU.
Yes, and that was a barn burner in Allegiant Stadium. It's kind of a neutral site. Split.
Yep.
And oh man, we had a great time.
Oh, we did, and I mean it was a heck of a game. Clark beat me 38-32, and I think I outrushed you. Had more passing yards. Won every statistical category except the scoreboard where
Adam,
it matters.
Hold up. God. You're sounding like Dabo Sweeney after Duke last year.
That's true. That's true.
Complaining about the scoreboard.
But defense was so hard to play, and I love defense, and I thought I had a good scheme out there. But, Clark, you kept running this little out route with your slot receiver or your tight end, and I thought I could sit in a zone and have my cornerback just sit and my safety pick up anything over the top and kind of my linebacker covering right there the guy on the out route, but then my cornerback just sitting there ready to jump the route when he threw it. But, no, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't work. You just nickel and dime me down the field.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I ran man. It didn't matter if I was in a zone. I don't care if I was in a Tampa 2, a cover 2, a cover 4, a cover 1, cover 0, whatever. I couldn't stop getting nickel and dime down the field.
Well, Adam, you pounded the football right up the middle between the tackles.
Old school, baby. Line it up. Get a fullback in there. Establish the run game. Insert your dominance.
Yeah.
And you be patient. You just chip away at it, and then you bust one.
The difference between the game was one a pick six. I picked you off, ran it back to the crib. And the second was a kick return. And Adam, you got to limit the explosives.
You do. Yeah, that's what kills you, man. And it's just like real life football. I mean, you got to limit the explosives, and you can't lose the turnover margin by 2.
Yeah. I tell you, though, it's so much fun. And I got the game. I paid the $30 extra. So I paid $100 for the video game. We're not going to talk about how much I actually spent between the console and the new TV. We're not going to talk about that. But I spent the extra $30 since Monday. Listen to this. Since Monday, I've been starting about 10 p.m. at night and going to bed at about 2:30. Every single one of those nights for the past 6 nights.
Love it.
So I've gotten very used to the game and the mechanics and everything. I tell you, the weirdest thing about it is when you want to run a read option. To give the ball now, you don't do anything, right? In the old game, you would press A and you'd give the ball. But now it's reversed, and so that's been throwing me for a loop. But I tell you, the presentation of the game is fantastic. They nailed Sanford Stadium. It looks looks amazing. And playing on the road too. Like I ran a dynasty. I'm running a dynasty with Hawaii, and first round of the playoff, I don't know how I snuck in there. Took my team 10-2. We went to the playoff and played Notre Dame on the road. Absolutely unbelievable environment. And Notre Dame's not even one of the best ones. So I'm kind of scared to see what LSU, what Neyland, what Sanford looks like on the road as another team.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's exciting because, one thing, too, is I have to share this quick story real quick about my experience. I hadn't played in years, so I'm rusty on the sticks, trying to learn PlayStation 5. So I'm like, my wife, she was right beside me when I was playing. She was doing some things, fiddling on the computer and everything. And I said, I'm about to go whoop Clemson's tail. I'm going to set it. We're going to play in the Benz. It's going to be Georgia versus Clemson. I'm going to start off, just give it to them. So the first play, Chaz Chambliss sacks Cade Klubnik for like a 7-yard loss. I'm getting hyped, like standing up, getting hyped, and I'm looking at her. I'm whooping their tail. Well, all of a sudden, Dylan Bell fumbles a kick return, and Clemson gets the ball. I rough the kicker when Clemson misses a field goal. They score a 30-yard touchdown pass after that. I'm down 28-0 in the second quarter, and Kelsey, my wife, is just laughing hysterically. And I just don't know what to say. And I call Clark in a panic, like, Clark, this game is so much harder than I remember it being. Like, I got it. So I had to go to the mini camp. I had to go to mini camp and kind of develop my skills on the sticks and get my joints back configurated because I mean I'll be honest with you, my old joints now they weren't like they were in my early 20s, man. I was like, golly, those sticks here. So, but yeah, I mean I'm a college football nerd, so I had to get back in the video game world just to play this football game. It's great.
Question: did you officially lose that first game to Clemson? You quit.
I was a quitter.
So all right,
it don't count.
No, it doesn't.
It don't count.
It's a wash. It's a wash.
So, but I started a dynasty with Appalachian State.
Ooh, okay. Tell me about
that. But with the old college football game, Clark, it was I would always start a dynasty with Georgia because they would be like ranked, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around in there, start off during the Rick there. It's still a respectable program and still easy to recruit. And I would go win a national championship. And, the confetti, red and black confetti would fall down, man. They'd have the old crystal ball trophy hoist. And I'd be like, man, I want to see this in real life so bad that I just kept living through it virtually every single year from 2003 when I was 10 years old, the first NCAA game I got, till 2013. So 10 years, 10 games. First thing I did every July when I was fortunate enough to get that game was win a national championship with Georgia. Well, this year, I thought back at that moment. I was like, I've already seen it in real life.
Exactly.
They're already the number one program. All I could do if I started a career with Georgia right now is go down. So I'm not going to do a dynasty with Georgia because
love
I've
it.
already seen it in real life. So I said, I'm going to find a program. And I was like, I kind of love the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. I hate Georgia Southern.
Do you?
I hate Georgia Southern.
Why do you wait?
Because they don't like Georgia. You talk to the diehard Georgia Southern people, they don't like Georgia.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to all the Georgia Southern people down there in Southeast Georgia Statesboro that supports. That's fine. That's okay. Obviously, the Urt Russell stuff. But if you talk to true Georgia Southern people, Clark, they do not like Georgia. They have an inferiority complex with Georgia. And as a Georgia fan, I'm not going to support them because they hate Georgia.
Wow. All right. I mean, I've always pulled for them, but I guess, I mean, that's...
I did. I kind of did there for a while until I learned truly what the brass down there thinks about the University of Georgia.
Well, thank the good Lord that we somehow managed to pull out a victory.
That night in 2015, when we were going to overtime, I don't think I sat and I slumped down. I was like, we cannot lose to Georgia Southern. But anyway, so I don't like Georgia Southern. So I started Dynasty with Appalachian State, and I went down to Statesboro in rivalry week and beat them 71-0. Like
Adam,
just ran. That's can you believe
you can't
that?
do
I
that.
have problems? Do I have problems?
No, that's.
I went down to Georgia Southern and I found pleasure in taking the Appalachian State Mountaineers down to Statesboro, and I put it on them more than I've ever put it on anybody.
Adam, I'm concerned about
That's bad,
what's
isn't
going to happen when you have a down year and they come into your place. I mean, it's going to be like a Steve Spurrier situation.
Yeah. I put it on them. I put it on. But then I got to thinking, why do I have so much disdain to the Georgia Southern Eagles?
Yeah.
And Clay Helton's program down there. But I just don't like it. That's another thing. I will make that a chapter in the book. We'll visit that kind of jealousy of brotherly. I don't know if you call it. I mean,
is it because we stole Urt Russell? I mean, is that
because they stole Urt Russell?
Or did they steal? I thought we stole.
No, we didn't steal. He coached in the late 80s. And he left Athens after the 80 season.
Yep.
And then we got Bill Lewis in, and defense dropped significantly. Then Louis Grizzard wrote about that. Because it was one of Louis Grizzard's best lines, then we'll get back on topic, was I think we were losing in Columbia. This might have been 1983 or so. And Bill Lewis was a defense coordinator, and he went on to go to Tech. But anyway, Louis Grizzard talks about being in the stands of Columbia, hot day. Everybody's been to Columbia. The Georgia South Carolina game has known about this hot day. And, just knows how hot it is. And somebody goes, where's our defense at? And then another person in the stands goes, it's on the sideline in Statesboro, Georgia right now. So, I thought that was pretty clever and good. But any Georgia football historian would love that. So, anyway, I just don't like Georgia Southern. Point blank, period.
I'd love to know that. I'm curious now. I want to know from the people's perspective, our listeners' perspective, whether or not they have any sort of disdain towards Georgia Southern.
I think a great pulse would be we have listeners right in the heart of it. Our good friends Zach and Whitney Murphy they live in Statesboro. Yeah. They're right there. And they might, and that's fine. If you live in Statesboro and support Georgia, I understand that. But the true blue Georgia Southern alum, like I'm talking about, you have a lot of them that like both of them. That's fine. I don't care. But the true Georgia Southern people who you cut them open and they bleed blue and gold, hate Georgia.
Yeah, one of our.
I loved it. I mean, I'd like to hear everybody's feedback on that. Yeah. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I've always gotten that impression.
Well, a friend of the show and a patron and a DGD, Graham Durham, his dad played.
Well, when you have that's different.
Yeah, I know.
When you have blood play, that's completely different. That's Graham's. That's a whole different scenario to me
for sure.
And I respect their program because obviously, but Paul Johnson came from there, man.
That is true.
I love how Urt did that, but Paul Johnson came from there, and I don't like Paul Johnson. But I mean, no, it's a heck of a historic program, and for what they've done, but I just don't
care for them.
Just because of some of the stuff I've heard of their fan base and what they think of us.
Oh man, well,
didn't expect that to get brought up.
Yeah, I'm curious too. For the people who do have CFB 25, and that's also weird, not saying NCAA 25, but CFB 25, I'm curious for the people out there playing it, who you're starting a dynasty with. So if you're on YouTube right now or on Facebook or wherever, just comment because I'd love to know. Like I'm genuinely curious. Yeah. And Dylan Deese, another patron, friend of the show, he brought up, when are we starting a Rose 60 online dynasty? That's an excellent question. The
problem will be if you want to play me in real time, it's going to be the midnight hour.
Yeah, that's true.
Going to be the problem.
I think it's going to be difficult for a multitude of reasons. One, they don't have cross-platform play on online dynasty. So that's going to be tough. 2, to your point, it's going to be tough to schedule out times. I don't exactly know how online dynasties
That'd be awesome to work. I've never been in one either. So.
Yeah, but we want to do this, and we're going to look more into it. So just stay tuned, be patient with us. I think when EA Sports like releases the cross-platform, i.e., Xbox can play PlayStation and vice versa online in dynasty mode. Once that gets figured out, we'll figure out something from there.
Yeah, and that is So but everybody can add me as a friend on the
same here.
The EA Sports.
So you're what?
AG capital D Ag Dog 15.
Ag Dog 15.
Graduated from Georgia in 15. I was an ag dog is what the agriculture school like Stuart.
Yeah.
So I created that handle. That is actually my handle. I'll drop this because I have actually seen it circulating in the past from people, and I've never done this before.
Okay.
But let's just say AgDog15 might be my handle on another Georgia football
forum
influence. Yeah,
interesting.
Because I've actually heard it asked from a couple people: "Are you members of this certain forum?" I'm not going to drop which one it is.
Yes. Interesting.
Which I'm not really an active poster on there anyway, so it doesn't matter. But anyway,
you say you throw some stuff on
there.
Mine is Dilly Dog 7. Dilly. So that came from, I don't know. It was in college. Was it the Bud Light commercial? And the guy said Dilly Dilly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny. I just put Dilly Dog 7. So Dilly Dog 7. If you want to add me, I'll play you. And by the way, dog is spelled the correct way, DAWG for both of us.
Yep,
so
that's right.
Just know that. But we're open to play. I mean,
yep.
I can't promise you that you're going to be able to pick Georgia or Ohio State, one of these top tier teams when you're playing me. I don't like that.
We don't do that.
We're going to go MAC teams.
We went Bowling Green in Toledo the other night.
That is
it was
true.
a slugfest.
Oh,
that
it was.
Good. I mean, it's no fun playing Georgia versus Ohio State.
Yeah.
No. You got to play Western Michigan versus Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
You got to play Jacksonville State versus UAB.
Yeah.
I mean, just stuff like that.
Okay, one thing. Hold up. I have 2 gripes about the game. One is the fact that Hawaii does not have Aloha Stadium. Right now, Aloha Stadium, like the actual one, is rusting.
Yeah.
They said it can never rust and whatever. Well, it's rusting, and the building is pretty much condemned. That's real life.
Oh, dang.
So they didn't put the actual Aloha Stadium in the game for Hawaii. And they didn't put the Timmy C something or another. It's not Timmy Chang Stadium, but their current alternate stadium. They don't have that in the game either. So it's some generic stadium. I hate it. I don't like it. So that's gripe number 1. Gripe number 2, Adam, the fact that Idaho, the Vandals, and the Kibbe Dome aren't in the
They're not.
Well, they're an FCS team now. I didn't realize
that is right. That is right. They did drop. That is true. The Q Dome's not in there. I tell you the one that gripes me, and this is very just like, but it makes me feel like this is, you could go back to NCAA 2004 on the PlayStation 2, and they had this. I hate it in Dynasty mode when they panned to my coach on the sideline. EA Sports was so lazy enough that you can't give your coach a hat when you create him. And then when he's having his slicker or his polo on, it's just a black. Or the team, it doesn't even have the logo on, and he's not even wearing a headset. It's like it's John Madden out there in 1971 on the sidelines that don't have a headset, or Bear Bryant or Tom Landry or somebody who don't even have a headset on. Like, how?
Let us customize
that makes
the
no
coach.
sense. And like every time it pans to my coach, it's like this is the most unrealistic thing. It's just a generic black T-shirt on, and he's just walking on the sidelines without a headset on.
Yeah,
like
I think the only reason I think that they are not doing that is because of NIL. They haven't gotten the the coaches aren't in the game.
Yeah.
So we have generic coaches in the game. Like Kirby Smart was like a black man in my game, which was just odd. I mean, didn't really think of that. But.
That's right. They hadn't got that. But still, I mean, can you not just throw a headset on your generic coach and like a visor or a hat? I don't know.
I guess what they're trying to avoid is them getting sued from a coach.
Well, if a coach sues them, already making majority of them. I know not all of them when you get in the Conference USA coaches, but if a coach that's making X million dollars a year sues them for somebody creating them in the game, golly,
they've got problems.
Get them. That's ridiculous.
That's something Eli Drinkwitz would do right there.
Shane Beamer would
Shane
do that.
Beamer would.
Gosh.
Or Dan Mullen if he were still around.
This is stupid.
Where is Dan Mullen? Is he still on the net?
I guess he's still on the network. Yeah.
What a joke.
Well, if everybody's still with us after that, I'm sorry. It's just it relates. College football fans, a lot of them are excited for this game.
Yeah.
So
my Uncle Bert, shout out to him. He's him and his wife, my aunt Joanna.
Yep.
They are patrons, but he told me the other day he did not care for the video game talk chatter. So
did he not?
He's probably glad if he's listening to this. He's probably glad this portion is done.
It's done.
Last thing, Adam, we probably need to address right quick before we kind of wrap this thing up.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about kind of a glaring issue in Athens.
Yeah.
Do we have sort of a culture problem with our how do you put this? Speeders, players wanting to act like they are on a NASCAR track?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
At this point, and we're not going to revisit the tragedy that's happened a couple years ago, but at this point, honestly, it is unbelievable. And I mean, as a result of NIL, kids getting their hands on either leases or purchasing these sports cars. Like, I mean, I'm all for, like, I'm not a huge car guy at all, in the sense of I'm definitely not like a modern sports car type guy. I do like old Chevelles or something, like old 68, 69 Chevelle or old 77 Trans Am or something like that. But I'm not huge into that. And I know that was a big thing back in the day, like our parents' ages, man, is they would run a back road and where we're at in Franklin County when there's a whole lot less traffic and there would be some racing going on. And but now going through Athens at an irate rate of speed, with alcohol consumed or not, I mean, it's just stupid. Yeah. It's just stupidity. And I don't know if these kids think that right now, because they are a Division I athlete, they're getting paid now. They're already kings on campus. I mean, everything, as much as we love, and we're part of the problem with feeding into that because we are so obsessed with Georgia football, is, I mean, I'll be honest, these kids, I think there's an invincibility deal with them.
Yeah.
And I think NIL and now them getting paid, they've always been paid. Let's not be naive. They always had more than what they needed when they were there, and some. Yeah, I agree. But now it's to an extent where you can get your hands on more exotic stuff as well. And I mean, it's a problem. And I wish what they need to do, Clark, is they need to either go to the Rusty Wallace racing experience in the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let them get into a NASCAR car and have it, or they also in the parking lot, if they so wish, get in one of those exotic sports cars and they can just go, so let Kirby just take the team to the Rusty Wallace racing experience. Yeah, that was kind of my idea. That was my idea. Either do that and let's rent out the whole thing for a Saturday in August. I think I went in August when I went to it. It was great adrenaline rush, man. No, mine was in March because they just repaved the track right before the Atlanta race. Man. And it's a great thrill. And you get to just go left and go at a high rate of speed. And
so you're
get
saying,
out of your system.
Yeah, so you're saying the way to fix the speeding problems at
field
Georgia.
Trip to the Rusty Wallace racing experience to get it out of their system. Kirby says, this is where we're going to play. I got this all, one group here. The defense is going to go do the exotic car racing one in the kind of the parking lot of Atlanta Motor Speedway. And then the offense is going to be doing the it used to be Richard Petty, the Rusty Wallace racing experience and on the track at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And then we're going to rotate when we're done. Yep. And then we're going to get all of our out of our system and we don't want to hear about it anymore. Either that or dadgum shut down Ben Epps in the drag strip and Kirby just go lease a couple dang Lamborghinis and let's just line them up with a straightaway just real quick.
Or instead of Hellcats and Dodge Challengers, maybe we just need to give the kids a Chrysler minivan. Like everyone, I think that was Will Matthews' idea.
That was good.
It's not, it feels like a laughing matter at this point, but it's really
stuff,
not,
man.
Though. It's serious stuff because we've lost several lives. And it's just not good. And look, before you start bashing Kirby and say we do have a culture problem, first of all, I don't think that's the case because Kirby, he truly has, from my understanding, sort of exhausted all resources. He has implemented, I think, defenseless driving. Apparently, he had someone come in and speak on driving specifically to the team just days before, one of these most recent incidents. But it's been something like 20-ish players since the Devin Willock situation.
It's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable and unfathomable, man. But I think it just comes down to, and I'm not going to put it at fault of them. I mean, I wasn't in that situation where I was a Division I athlete and was paid this amount of money and felt kind of that. But I think there is kind of an invincibility kind of thought to them, And but that's a serious matter. I have worked wrecks with the fire department here in Franklin County that if you see them, it changes your life forever, and it does something to you.
Yeah,
it does something to you.
Yeah, and and I'm not trying to bash the players here and we all make mistakes.
All make mistakes,
but you would think after what happened January 2022, after seeing a teammate and an assistant die, you would think that would shape some of these guys up.
23, yeah.
Or 23,
yeah,
excuse me.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, no, you're right. It should, but it's crazy. I couldn't believe that when I read that news. But hopefully that's the end of it. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's not end on a.
That's right.
Let's not end a bad note. This may be a bad note for all I know. Adam, my last question to you before we wrap this thing up, and this kind of leads us into next episode and the next and the next and the next. But what are some games right now on the schedule that you're a little nervous about? Because I know right now that you're probably not feeling the absolute best about the season. You may be. So I guess kind of a twofold question here. What's your feeling as of right now, July 21st, the recording of this episode, on the season? And then what games, if any, are you nervous about?
How many times have when we, I know we hadn't got to our official season prediction, but I've listed, Georgia's going to go undefeated and a half the past 3 years.
They sure have.
Regular season. I will say this, Clark. This year, I'm not going to say Georgia's going to run the table. And I will save who I think the loss will be to me or loss is when we get to that episode.
Okay.
But it's not because I think we have dropped off or I don't like the talent level. I think, my gosh, man, the murderer's row schedule that you have and going on the road to these places and these venues with the target that you have built because of what you have done that's going to be on your back and the atmospheres you're going to go into, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough, especially a lot of them kind of being in that back half of the season where you might lose some key guys to injury.
Yeah.
And but in the flip side of that, you got time for some guys to grow up and get in their position and guys kind of step up as leaders, man, when you lose guys like McConkey and Bowers. But okay, but to answer your original question, I've talked crap about it a little bit, but you got to be a little bit worried about Clemson coming in. They are, but they're still a respectable program in the sense. Really don't know what they're going to be like. In the sense, I do feel good about that. I will say that isn't the game I'm predicting loss in, but still, it's not just 100% given, even though I do feel like we're going to beat. But that, man, I don't know, man. Tuscaloosa, even Kalen DeBoer, just the unknown of what is this next generation of Alabama football going to look like. And then at Texas could be a just monstrous game.
Yeah.
What's
interesting here is Georgia actually only has 4 true road games.
And they're big ones, man.
And they're all 4 of them are actually really big.
Kentucky early in the year.
Yeah.
You have a big game against Clemson to kind of get your younger guys kind of broke into big time college football, but then you go up to Lexington and you face later Brock Vandegrift, former quarterback at Georgia, and that's going to be a rowdy environment, man.
And they're never easy to beat up there.
They're
really
not. And I know you usually play them in the back half of the season where they're kind of, sometimes it has been for the East up there. So Mark Stoops, an established program, and he is the longest tenured coach in the SEC right now. That's that's going to be a tough game, tough physical game, man. And then you get a bye week, and then Alabama. Then you come home against Auburn, man. And then you got your even though Florida, it's still Jacksonville. It's still Jacksonville. Even though I don't think you'll lose that football game, it still takes a lot of emotion out of you because it is what it is, and it's so unique. But then you got to go to Oxford, Mississippi the next week against a team, Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin, who got embarrassed in Athens last year, who's going to be having that game circled and already probably been working on Georgia this offseason. And then right after that, Clark, at least you come home, but here comes Josh Heupel in Tennessee. And how's Nico going to be? There's so much unknowns, man. It's such a heck of a schedule that I'm nervous about those games. And I'll be honest with you, probably the one that I'll say 2 right now I feel very, very nervous about, probably the most nervous about, will be at Texas and at Ole Miss, man. And obviously you said, well, what about Alabama? Well, I don't know, man. I just kind of
at least for Alabama, September 21st, Saturday, we'll have an off week then before Alabama, so maybe that helps us. But I'd also believe they get a bye week as well before us. So I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm with you though, Adam. I don't necessarily think we're going to go undefeated, though I'd love to. Though I think we're capable of it.
Yeah, we are. We are.
That's the thing.
100%,
Like, we're not
but-
sitting here saying we're not capable of doing this, but I mean, you guys know as well as we do, this is a gauntlet of a schedule. It's much different than, honestly, past couple of years. I mean,
it is.
We're definitely getting a big challenge this year on the road, even at home.
Well,
Wow.
losing Clark, going to divisionless SEC now, honestly, teams in the West are celebrating it, but let's call it like it was. It helped Georgia, even though I think we still would have won the division in years when we were in the West and still would have beat some of these teams. But now South Carolina's not on that schedule anymore, even though now Missouri is better, but traditionally Missouri hadn't been just great. And then Vanderbilt, don't get Vanderbilt on the schedule anymore.
Yeah.
And, and then so you lose some opponents, so let's just call it like it is, that were easy to chalk into W, and you replace them with Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas, and that's tough. But, I mean, this team's built to go through that gauntlet. And then you get an out-of-conference game against Clemson.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech.
Wow.
And Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is Friday, Black Friday.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. Night game.
Night game, too.
Night game. Maybe we're going to cook some turkey at the tailgate and just have a good time. I tell you that. We're going to have a Thanksgiving feast.
Good.
Yep, we are. We are.
Still working on actually getting to the game. We have a little bit of a conflict.
We'll talk about that in the
but-
future.
yeah.
Talk about that in the future episode.
Oh, man. A little bit of a
Woo,
conflict
man.
for that, but we'll see. Yeah, 7:30 though. ABC. That's gonna be a fun game. Black Friday.
Gonna be great. Gonna be great. Gonna be
And the
great.
UMass Minutemen. Hey, Adam, you
The
can't.
Minutemen.
And the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. I mean, those
Oh, yeah,
to me
you can't discount them.
are the two games that I'm putting Georgia on alert for.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, man, I love it. We're back in the saddle, baby, taking that horse by the reins and rocking and rolling.
Yep.
Woo!
Adam, I think everything on the table just shifted 3
all right.
inches when you.
That's all right.
But I love
That's all
it.
right.
Oh, we need that energy
time.
come
It's
August
time.
31st.
Oh, it'll be
Actually,
there.
we need that
It'll be
energy
there, baby.
come August 30th, Adam, that live call-in show.
Live call-in show.
gonna be
Everybody
so
better
much
be ready to
fun.
rock and roll.
Yep. Well, Adam, put a bow on this episode. It's been fun.
Whoa, yeah,
Start
man.
to season 4 of Row 60.
Season 4, row 6, man. What a blessing, of course, to be back. Yeah, I mean, a lot of changes, a lot of excitement, man. You've made it. You've made it. It is here now where you're going to, especially here in the next week or two, live August. The beginning of August means live practice updates. I've said this every year about this time, that when you get there, you get new news every single day. You get to hear about young guys. Who's going to be? Is KJ Bolden going to be at safety?
Yeah.
What, you get to hear about this, and you just get fed that whole month of August. So you've made it. You are there. Hope everybody's had a good summer. Hope everybody has a good beginning of the school year and finish their summer strong, because I'll be honest, man, it's time to forget about the beach, forget about the lake, forget about all your dadgum summer activities, because it is time for football season in the state of Georgia to make it 3 or 4, baby. New era. Kirby Smart leading the way, man. I'm excited about it. Row 6 will be here for every step of it. I love y'all. Cannot wait to get back in the swing of it, because we are here. New episodes coming out now. The hiatus is done, Clark.
It is.
It's time to get back to work. New episodes coming out weekly, baby. It is time to let the big dog eat. Get excited. Get fired up. Get that chatter going, because now it is the time to go and let them know that Georgia is here, and Georgia is still the king of college football, baby. Love y'all. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Woo!